and gentlemen, coming to you from somewhere in New Zealand, it's the Dave Benson Show with your host, Dave Benson.
Oh, it's good to be back. Good evening, good morning, or good luck, depending on what time zone you're watching from. Ladies and gentlemen, I am finally back in the studio after weeks of being in the UK. Now that's weeks of rain, cold weather, and food that was clearly seasoned by someone too scared to commit. Oh boy, it feels good to be home. Honestly, I opened the fridge today and I nearly cried. Fresh vegetables, real coffee, no one offering me beans for breakfast. Oh, I've missed New Zealand more than my hairline misses the 90s. But before we get into anything today, there are a lot of friends and families who say they watch and support the show, but I just want to take a moment to give a very real, very heartfelt shout out to my Aunt Jill. She is an absolute legend who does watch every episode and has watched, supported and championed this show since the start, more than around 90% of my blood relatives combined. Jill, you are a superstar, and trust me, it does not go unnoticed. Thank you. Now, we've got one very important question. It's a real question that we need to answer. This is a real brain teaser, a philosophical crisis wrapped in tinsel, you might say. We all know the song, I Saw Mummy Kissing Santa Claus Under the Christmas Tree. Right, the question is, how long was this going on for? Now, are we talking a festive peck under the tree, or was Santa parked there for a full 12 days of Christmas situation? Because the kid in the song is ready to go and tell Dad. He's excited about it. He's not traumatized. He's like, wait till my daddy hears about this, like he's going to drop the greatest Christmas plot of all time. But then you start thinking, if Santa's doing this at that house, how many other mums has this bloke been kissing? Is he doing the full street? Is there a naughty list? And is it just dads who have no idea what's happening under their own mistletoe? And where's Mrs. Claus in all of this? Is she in on it? Do they have some kind of North Pole open relationship? Like, right Santa, you can deliver presents to 4 billion children in one night and kiss a few mums, but you better be home by sunrise and you're doing the dishes on Boxing Day. I'm just saying, the more you listen to Christmas music, the more you realise half these songs are a catchy melody and the other half are a HR case waiting to happen. Let's kick into the monologue.
Gears engaged, pressure steady, system at peak performance. Standing by, initiating monologue.
Okay, we're going to start right here in New Zealand, where a man in Wellington attempted what can only be described as the worst James Bond impression in history. So this guy walked into a jeweler, spotted a $19,000 Fabergé pendant inspired by the Bond movie Octopussy, and thought, you know what? I'll just swallow it. Not hide it, not run with it, not slip it into a pocket. He swallowed it. Police are now doing something no training manual could have prepared them for. Waiting for nature to return the evidence. They literally said they're monitoring the situation, which is police speak for we're standing around until biology does the paperwork. This might be the first criminal investigation where the offender needs fibre more than a lawyer. Over in Virginia, a raccoon broke into a closed liquor store, knocked over bottles of bourbon and whiskey, drank what spilled, trashed the place, and then passed out on the bathroom floor. In other words, he had the exact same night as half of Wellington on a Friday. Animal control showed up, sobered the little guy, and released him back into the wild. Good for him. This raccoon is now reportedly attending recovery meetings. Hi, my name's Rocky, and I haven't touched whiskey in 4 hours. Honestly, somewhere out there's a raccoon waking up with a headache, blurred memories and a receipt for 3 broken shelves. A man in California discovered a 500-pound black bear hibernating under his house. Now imagine being halfway through your morning coffee and suddenly realising the plumbing noises you've been hearing for 2 weeks are a bear doing bear things under your living room. This bear, who neighbours have now named Barry, comes and goes at night, raids the rubbish bins and shakes the house like he's rearranging the furniture. Authorities want to relocate him, which seems pretty logical, but the homeowner is trying his own plan, involving dinner rolls, sandbags and gentle encouragement. Yeah, mate, nothing says leave my property like carbs and optimism. If this was New Zealand, we'd have already adopted him, given him an Instagram account and started selling merch. In Oregon, someone is secretly sticking giant googly eyes on public sculptures, and locals love it. I love it as well. We're talking metal horses, historic figures, random abstract art, boom, googly eyes. Instant comedy upgrade. City officials, however, are spending money trying to remove them because they're worried about the adhesive damage to the artwork. Now, come on, it's googly eyes, not napalm. The prank has gone viral, hit late night TV in the US, and honestly, I get it. If you're walking to work at 7 a.m. in winter and you've seen a statue staring at you like it's had 3 coffees and a nervous breakdown, it does kind of brighten the mood. At a rescue farm called the Gentle Barn, you can now pay for a turkey cuddle therapy session. That's right. You sit down, a turkey waddles over, rests its warm little turkey-like body on you, and apparently people start crying, healing childhood trauma and reaching emotional enlightenment. There's even a blind turkey named Smudge who falls asleep in your arms. This is adorable, but it's also deeply confusing because for decades turkeys have had one job: be Thanksgiving. Now they're doing mental health work. Meanwhile, I can't even get my cat to sit for long enough to finish a cuddle with me without biting. A prisoner in Melbourne is suing because the prison has banned Vegemite, claiming it violates his human rights to enjoy his culture as an Australian. This is the most Australian court case in history. Forget murder trials, we're debating fermented yeast spread. Authorities banned Vegemite because inmates were using it to distract drug-sniffing dogs and brew prison alcohol. Which kind of raises the bigger question. Why does Vegemite work for any of that? What is this stuff? Are Australians just immune to it? A copy of Superman #1 from 1939 sold for, wait for it, $9.12 million at auction. Think about this. One comic, $9 million. Imagine digging through your family attic and finding that. Meanwhile, I just checked mine. I found a broken toaster, some Christmas lights from 2004, and a spider, which I immediately ran from. No retirement fund for me, apparently. And finally, Dua Lipa's Mexican City concerts include a pop-up taco stand called La Dua, where fans can buy themed tacos, margaritas, and hot sauce based on her songs. This is genuinely brilliant. She said she wanted her fans to experience her music and her love for Mexican food. So now you can go to a concert, hear global pop hits, and eat a taco named after the chorus. If I ever get big enough, I'm opening a pop-up called the Dave Benson Snack Bar. We're going to serve food that's slightly confusing, but very enthusiastic. Let's have a look at the YouTube news. So YouTube has finally released its version of Spotify Wrapped, the YouTube Recap it's called. It shows top creators, watch time totals, favourite topics, and even gives you a personality type. And just like Spotify Wrapped, it's designed to expose how you actually spend your life. People all over the world are posting their recaps like badges of honour. Oh look! I watched 600 hours of educational content. Mate, you watched 400 hours of cat videos at 2 a.m. You're not fooling anyone. I'm terrified of mine. It's probably going to say, bald guy who watches his own show because he has trust issues. It's true. YouTube is testing a new feature called Custom Feeds where you can manually fine-tune your recommendations. This is huge. For years, we've all been prisoners of the algorithm. You watch one video about medieval swordsmithing and suddenly YouTube thinks you're a Viking warrior prepared to raid a monastery. This new feature lets you say, no YouTube, I actually don't want to learn how to forge a katana today. I'm just trying to watch a cooking video like a normal person. If they really want to fix the platform, I need a button that says, hide all content from people who start their videos with, what's up guys? I never start my videos like that. I might. YouTube continued its full-scale war on ad blockers. People using ad blocking extensions opened YouTube and saw nothing. Blank screens, frozen videos, error messages. YouTube basically said, oh, you don't want to see ads? Cool. You don't get to see anything at all. It's the digital equivalent of taking your ball and going home. So users are left with two choices. Watch ads for things they never buy, or purchase YouTube Premium and pretend it was their idea. Either way, Google wins. Somewhere in Silicon Valley, a product manager just slid down a golden slide into a pool of subscription money. Clever guy. Mr. Beast's latest mega collab, a simulated Hunger Games with 100 creators, exploded on YouTube this week. Millions of views in 48 hours, trending in 40 countries. Now imagine wrangling 100 YouTubers. That's 100 ring lights, 100 egos, 100 people shouting, "Make sure you spell my channel name right." The funny part? Now every creator who got eliminated is arguing in comment sections like it's a custody dispute. "Bro, I should have won, the game was rigged." "Mate, it's Minecraft, calm down." In a rare moment of responsibility, YouTube updated its AI rules, especially for political content. Creators now have to label synthetic or AI-altered footage, particularly anything involving elections. This is good because last year someone deepfaked a politician into singing Beyonce and it confused half the country. So now if you see a world leader dancing, rapping or making sense, you can safely assume it's AI. Several major creators hit massive milestones this week. Kayla's passed 20 million subscribers. Veritasium crossed 15 million. And T-Series, well, they remain the undefeated heavyweight champion at 250 million. At this rate, T-Series might actually reach the population of India, which, considering it's an Indian music channel, feels suspiciously on brand. All right, let's have a look at the podcast news. So Jon Stewart announced he's launching a fully independent podcast after leaving Apple TV+. This is big, because Jon Stewart with no corporate leash is like giving a toddler sugar. Something's going to happen, and someone's going to cry. He says he wants full creative control, which is code for, "I'm about to roast everyone, and no one can stop me." Expect politicians to suddenly develop unrelated medical emergencies every time he uploads. Jerry Seinfeld released a surprise interview podcast on Spotify because, well, of course he did. The man built a career creating a show about nothing, and now he's turned it into an audio form. But somehow, it's good. He asks simple questions, gets weird, honest answers, and it turns out listening to Jerry Seinfeld talk is like listening to your brain narrate a supermarket trip. Taylor Swift made a surprise appearance on the Kelsey Brothers podcast. That's it. That's the story. The internet imploded like a dying star. Every Swiftie on earth synchronized their breathing. Spotify servers considered retirement. Even the algorithm went, "I don't know what's happening, but I'm scared." Once again, Joe Rogan Experience is #1 on Spotify and Apple. No movement, no change, no drama. Just Joe sitting comfortably on top like a podcasting mountain goat. Somewhere at Spotify HQ right now, a finance guy is literally bathing in ad revenue, Scrooge McDuck style. Let's have a look at those movie reviews this week.
It's the 60-second movie review.
Let's talk Wicked for good. This is the second half of the Wicked musical adaptation. Back to Oz, back to drama, back to everyone singing like they're trying to win an Olympic medal. The big headline, well, it's made nearly 400 million worldwide, so at the box office it's doing okay. But critics are saying it's not quite as strong as the first film. Still good, just not defying gravity good. The visuals are huge and the score is still a banger, but some reviewers say that this part feels heavier, more serious, and the pacing's a bit uneven, like the film had one too many pumpkin spice lattes before going. But if you love the music, love the spectacle, or you just want to see Jeff Goldblum as the wizard again, really does deliver. Next up, we've got Zootopia 2. It's finally here after almost a decade, and the good news? It's actually good. Critics are calling it funny, visually stunning, and worth the wait. We're back with Judy Hobbs and Nick Wilde, and this time the mystery is bigger, the world is bigger, and the comedy is very dad trying not to laugh in the cinema but failing. The animation is gorgeous. Disney really flexed the wallet on this one. This one leans more adventure, more humour, more big set pieces, and that's not a bad thing. Still a proper family movie that does the job. Kids are loving it, which kind of means parents are legally required to also love it. Finally, we have something completely different. The Thing with Feathers. This one is not, and I repeat, not a feel-good movie. This is a turn the lights off, stare at the wall, and think about your life movie. Benedict Cumberbatch plays a father grieving his wife's sudden death while trying to raise 2 young boys. But grief in this film isn't just emotional. It becomes a physical, terrifying symbol in the form of a giant crow-like figure that haunts the entire family. Yes, Sherlock Holmes is fighting a grief monster bird. Cumberbatch is phenomenal. He's raw, he's emotional, he's heartbreaking, but critics have noted that the film can be a bit heavy-handed. The metaphor sometimes hits you over the head like the Crow took boxing lessons. It's bold, it's artistic, it's unsettling, exactly the kind of film you watch once, recommend to someone else, and then you never emotionally recover from. And that, my friends, is the week. From drunk raccoons to billion-dollar YouTubers to movie studios trying to emotionally dismantle us with animated sloths and giant grief crows. What a time to be alive. What a time to be on the internet. What a time to realize that Santa Claus may or may not be running a multinational mistletoe operation behind Mrs. Claus's back. But tonight, we're doing something special. We've got a return guest, someone who's become part of this show's DNA, someone whose imagination works at levels the rest of us can only reach if we drink 4 coffees and stare at the wall for half an hour. This man can turn a simple idea into an entire universe, a casual thought into a storyline, and a normal conversation into an entire plot twist. He's a best-selling author, a world builder, a creative machine, and honestly, one of the funniest, sharpest storytellers we've ever had on the show. Every time he comes on, the episode goes off the rails in the best possible way. You'll see exactly what I mean in a moment. Tom, rack 'em and stack 'em. Let's roll these titles.
I said I wanna see the Dave Benson show, and I can't stop and never gonna let it go. I said I wanna see the Dave Benson show, and I can't stop and never gonna let it go.